Thank you so much for your patience in waiting. We've had a very difficult week, as you can imagine. Today we did present the case against Rodney Hinton Jr. to the grand jury. And during this press conference, I'm certainly going to describe the facts as we know them today, and what led us to select the charges that we presented to the grand jury, as well as what their verdict was. So, Deputy Larry Henderson. I did reach out to Mrs. Henderson after we got the news of the grand jury. I wasn't able to reach her personally, so I unfortunately had to leave a message on her phone, and that is the most difficult message you can leave for someone on their phone. I also offer my sympathy to the Sheriff's Department and the entire law enforcement world here in this community. I know they're all grieving. I know all of you have questions about the police-involved shooting from May 1st. Our office is still investigating that, as we do in all officer-involved shootings. And so, since that review is not done, I won't be commenting on it or taking any questions on it. Nor will I be discussing the three suspects who allegedly were in the vehicle that started this chain of events. This today is about Deputy Henderson, and the visitation is going on right now, and his funeral is tomorrow, and so it's only proper and apt that we focus on the tragic death. Oh, wait, we'll stay here, not ready. So on May 2nd, 2025, Sheriff's Deputy Larry Henderson was working a traffic light. This was a detail to help manage traffic flow due to the congestion related to the commencement at the University of Cincinnati. The deputy had retired from his full-time career with the Hamilton County Sheriff. He did that a few months ago, but he still continued to serve by picking up occasional details when extra help was needed. And on May 2nd, he chose to accept a special detail to help direct traffic caused by UC's graduation. He was in uniform. He was wearing a bright traffic vest, a reflective vest. He was serving the community. But in an act of tragic proportion, his life ended. And I'm going to walk you through the series of events that led to this deputy's sad death. We can go to the next slide. All right. This is the result of the grand jury. I'm giving you this first because I know you all have deadlines. He was indicted today on 2 counts of aggravated murder. Both carry a death specification. 1 count of felony murder and 2 counts of felonious assault. Next slide, please. I'm going to go through the chain of events that led up to this tragedy. So at 9:30, I'm just going to step away and point to the map here and here. So at the bottom left of the slide, this is where Rodney Hinton Jr., along with his family, they went to the Cincinnati Police Department to meet with the chief, and the police had decided to show them the body cam footage involving the death of his son, Ryan Hinton. They meet with the chief there. At 9:51 a.m., Hinton, and when I say Hinton henceforth, that means Rodney Hinton Jr., the defendant herein. Mr. Hinton was so upset, he left the building. At 10:37, so almost 50 minutes later, the family that was with him comes out of the building and they all leave in one car. Mr. Hinton left his vehicle there because he was upset. The family drives him up to Findlay Market, where they suggest he gets something to eat, and he declined. After that, they go to the home of a family member. Mr. Hinton takes a 30-minute nap. By 12:41, the family decided that they could return him to the police station, lower left part of the slide, where he can retrieve his vehicle. And at 10:44, Hinton drives out of the parking lot, but his family follows him. Hinton drives back to the police department and drives through the parking lot. His family is still following him. At 12:50, he leaves, drives up Clifton Avenue. His family is still following him. Turns onto Martin Luther King Drive. Family members still follow. There's a lot of traffic and congestion. Hinton pulls into the right lane. You're right by campus there. And at 1:05 p.m., Deputy Henderson is hit. Now we're going to walk through the last tragic seconds with the next slide. So this is a street view where you see the intersection. This is the stop line that's painted there where people have to stop. This is the unused middle lane, which up here is designated as a left turn only lane. These little plastic things are called delineators. They're just there to keep people from swerving into oncoming traffic. Here, this light pole, that's where Deputy Henderson was standing. A lot of the traffic enforcement people say that's a prime spot to stand because it has a tree for shade, and if it's hot, you get a little shade. And also, it's on a concrete triangle, so you're not in the road. So it's considered a pretty safe place to stand. And that's where he was standing. He was working a traffic light indicator to help ease congestion. And this photo does show it a little bit, but everyth's on a hill near the University of Cincinnati, and this road is no different. We're looking down the hill. All right, next slide, please. So this is the aerial view, and I just want to show a couple things to you. So I pointed out this unused lane in the middle. You can see it all across Martin Luther King Drive. And you can also see if you, I think you're all going to get a packet of these, but you can see that where the left turn lane is here. And you might be able to ascertain where those plastic delineators are. So we know that Rodney Hinton turned onto Martin Luther King Jr. Drive. Initially, he pulled into the right lane. Family was still behind him. Then he pulls into the left lane. And then he stopped in that center unused lane. And I'm sorry, I don't have that exact location for you. But as he moves on up, he's just waiting there. Pardon me. He waits there. There's no place to turn. There's no signal there. He's just in that unused lane. Because he was up a little bit of a hill, he was at a higher elevation, and he could look down and see what was going on in front of him, and he could see Deputy Henderson working that traffic light. At 1:05 p.m., Hinton floors the vehicle, crossing into the opposing traffic lanes, and drives directly at Deputy Henderson and hitting him. We have the next slide, please. Here's the left turn arrow right there. So he went through this. The family, keep in mind, is watching all this happen. It's a clear view, straight as an arrow. He never veers off course. He never slows down. He aimed his vehicle toward the place of impact. He drove around the left side of those delineators. And he hit the deputy. In addition, while he was paused in that unused center lane, there was traffic coming. He didn't make his move until the oncoming traffic had cleared, and he had an open road ahead of him. So next slide, please. This was a very sad day for our community. It's a very, very tragic situation. A law enforcement officer simply directing traffic was purposely targeted and killed because he was doing his job and because he was a law enforcement officer. It was the defendant's specific purpose to kill a law enforcement officer. And he put many other people in danger. UC was having its commencement ceremony. Just feet away from where the deputy was standing, there were students who were dressed in their caps and gowns walking to commencement. There were family members. We all know how horrible parking is in Clifton, but imagine on graduation day how much harder it is. People were parked all over the place, crossing the street to see their children graduate. Should have been one of the happiest days in these families' lives, but instead, it's a tragic, horrific incident happens. I'm going to ask the sheriff to say some words.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. As we speak, Larry Henderson's viewing is commencing, and we have opened it to the public. We set out time prior to 4 o'clock today to allow the deputies, the sheriff's deputies, to go and give their condolences to Larry's family. And after that, then they were going to stay, and they are staying for the viewing for Larry Henderson. Tomorrow we will lay Larry Henderson to rest. We will have a burial with full ceremony. He will be buried with full honors. Larry Henderson, during his career, I'd like to note, received a Medal of Valor for his efforts in helping and trying to help save a woman's life who was literally gunned down in front of him. What I'm asking the public to realize is this: we are all mourning someone. I understand that this is a very trying time. I understand that tempers are high. I understand that people are asking each other why. What I'm asking everyone in our community to do is to do your best to engage and talk to people. Grab onto each other and mourn. Do the things that you know in your grief will help you heal. But I'm asking you to please, please let justice play out in all cases. The criminal justice system is designed in such a way that we all have to participate and we all have to wait. And that's law enforcement as well. And that's exactly what we will do. We will follow those dictates, and I'm asking the public to understand that it is a very trying time for all of us. So the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department will continue to stand. We will continue to serve the public, and we will continue to do so in a fair and equitable way. with transparency. Thank you very much.
Any questions?
Prosecutor, I have a couple for you. The first of which, these charges carry a potential death penalty, but is that one that you will seek, and if so, why?
My job is not an easy job. My job is to prosecute people who've been accused of committing crimes. I see tragedy every day. This case is absolutely one of the more tragic I've seen in my short tenure. The facts of this case meet the law that's written in Ohio that does include the death penalty. And that's why we're seeking it. Apparently the grand jury agrees.
Previous prosecutors have taken these cases up themselves and prosecuted them personally. Is that something you plan to do? And if not, who will be prosecuting?
I have my top two criminal lawyers on this, Kate Burrows and Kit Guinan.
Have they pursued capital murder cases in the past?
Yes.
Your thoughts on the seeking the death penalty on this case? Personally.
I think I just gave them.
This is novel. The judge that heard Hinton's
In
case
Romania.
just the other day,
Mhm.
said it was something unprecedented, something he's never seen before. Can you just comment on the nature of this case, essentially a police shooting leading to what appears to be an act of retribution? Do you see it that way? And can you comment on the unprecedented nature of this case?
I can only tell you that I've never seen someone hunted down and killed like this. And I think Judge Yates was expressing that astonishment as well, that this is something unlike we've ever seen before. We do have laws to protect the accused. We have laws to protect the families as well. And we have laws to protect everybody who's going about their business. But when we have someone who's just showing up to work, doing his job to protect and serve, and is killed for that, it's reprehensible.
Sure. I do have one question for you as well, if you don't mind. Given that this case is going to be pursued as a death penalty case, what do you think of that? Multiple people from former FOP officers, things along those lines, have called for it to be pursued as a death penalty case. But what are your thoughts on the death penalty being applied here?
I stand with the prosecutor. I am the sheriff of Hamilton County. I have sworn to uphold the law, and the prosecutor is following the grand jury and all of the processes that are played out in the criminal justice system. I don't touch every one of those systems. What I do is enforce laws, and I stand for law enforcement. I stand for transparency. My opinion of the case is a professional one, and my opinion is we, as law enforcement officers, will continue to do our job. We understand that there are crimes that get committed, and they're heinous crimes. And they're crimes that elicit emotion from the public. They're crimes that there are people in the public want to see justice. And we are here to be transparent about our actions, but I do not deliver opinions as far as guilt or innocence. That is not my job.
Yesterday in court, the prosecutor said there was a big mental health question mark. Was that taken, have you guys reviewed his mental health background, and was that taken into consideration when you guys were adding that death penalty?
We have no evidence that's been submitted to us about any mental health issues.
All right, you guys, one more question. I have to let Charmaine get to the visitation.
I guess when do you anticipate discussing the other aspect of this regarding the Hinton, the shooting of Hinton and the police investigation with that? I guess have you
Well,
received the CPD investigation on that?
It's still being investigated, so I have no information to share with you on that yet.
Just 2 counts, can you explain, there's 2 counts, you got the one person,
Yeah.
explain why that's.
Yeah, so that the facts of this case, we felt were answered by 2 different provisions in the criminal code. Both provisions for this type of aggravated murder are directed for instances when the victim is a law enforcement officer and the defendant either knew or should have known, in plain speak, should have known, or everybody thinks they should have known, is a law enforcement officer. So that carries for both different provisions. Then it changes. So in one provision of the revised code, the death is happening while the victim is performing his duties. The second provision of the Ohio Revised Code that we think these facts fit is that the murder happens because the defendant was looking to kill a police officer. And I believe and instructed my staff to follow these facts exactly and pursue both different sections.
When you say hunted down, you just said that he was looking to kill a police officer. Do you have any ideas or suspicions as to why he returned to the parking lot of the CIS building?
Well, that, obviously I'm not in his brain, but one can conclude from observing these facts that he drove around the block and he went back into the parking lot for a minute.
All right, you
Why
guys,
else would he
thank
go
you
back
so
there?
much for coming. We really appreciate
Okay.
it.
Yeah, we got